Target has Laundry Day covered because they offer a great selection of concentrated Tide Pods to help with all your laundry needs. Tide Pods clean, freshen, and help rejuvenate your clothes with odor fighters and stain removers. Did you know Tide Pods clean better than the leading liquid bargain detergent? Tide Pods are powerful enough to make your whites white and your brights bright, even in cold water. Just toss in 1 Tide Pod for small loads, 2 for medium, 3 for large. It's that easy. For great value and convenient pickup options, get Tide Pods today at Target.
Envision a world with 0 crashes, 0 traffic congestion, and 0 emissions. We call it the all-electric future, and Chevrolet is on the path to get there. Plug in and get ready to charge ahead with us as we continue our journey in the all-electric Bolt EUV, pairing bold design with brilliant technology to offer a driving experience that is simply electric. Learn more at Chevrolet.com/Bolt EUV.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rule. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to One Nation Radio. It's been a great weekend of pro wrestling, and we're just going to start off the top. I'm going to say hey to Rich, and we'll get to it. What's going on, Rich? Are you feeling as good as I feel? Woo! Man, a great weekend of wrestling.
The wrestlers. Always trust the wrestlers.
Yeah.
I am going to open this show with some thoughts on just like There's a basketball page that I follow. It's called Ball Don't Stop. Often he says, like, people talk about a lot of stuff in the game of basketball, right? But ultimately, the game is about a bucket. And ultimately, wrestling is about a match. Like, and when it comes to AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was time for the bell to ring to come to America to put a hot ass crowd in a fucking building, the biggest one or second biggest arena in the United States, and everyone else that was coming from New Japan. I saw a lot of people that were thinking New Japan wrestlers weren't going to take this seriously. They didn't care about it. They were getting off their jokey jokes, hoping this whole show failed in spite of New Japan being on it. You pure old fucking dorks. Like, how about it now? They were willing to cut their nose off to spite their face. They acted like New Japan wasn't a part of this. What was wrong with you people? Let the hate out your heart go. Like, how dare you insult these wrestlers and think they have pride that they don't want to come over here and get themselves back over to the American audience. You think they don't want to do Forbidden Door 2 in Japan? These people were wrestling for respect last night.
Yep.
From Hiroki Goto to Yoshihashi to Clark Connors, Despy and Kanemaru. Who else you want to name? They were coming over here to prove a point. And so was AEW. AEW wasn't about to show up and be like, just let them get killed by these dudes. Shota Umino damn near may have had a superstar performance. Chris Jericho points at him, I'm gonna get that fucking guy over. And he fucking does. Oh, also, Chris Jericho fucking does it again. Never count out Chris Jericho. Ever. These people have not heard live crowds like that in years.
Some of them, yeah. Some of
them. I was in heaven last night. This is an all-time great show. Put whatever you want up against it.
I mean, like, barring, like, this has got to be a top 3 AEW pay-per-view. Got some Wrestle Kingdoms, couple takeovers. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Flew by. I watched it in a movie theater. I'm gonna watch all the pay-per-views in a movie theater now. It was amazing. Like, I just watched the show. I was so happy for all the wrestlers. I was so happy to, like, for the guys, and I would think all the people that were on the show were thinking, damn, all people can talk about is who's not on this show, who's missing it, who's not, like, available, who just got injured, who's been injured. And all these wrestlers that were on the show took it as a personal challenge. And what happened? They just built another fucking franchise between New Japan and AEW. They're going to be able to do as many of these as they want. They're going to do them in Osaka Joe Hall. They're going to do them in the Forum in LA. They're going to run them shits in Orlando. They're going to run them shits in Tokyo. They're just going to do these back and forth. And they're just going to, it looks like you think about how good this one is, how much better will the next one be, man? What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I would say do it twice a year. Like, and doing it the time that they did, and people were wondering, like, why would we do it in the middle of this, or like at the beginning of the summer and whatever else. Like, well, some word is that, like, Obari enjoyed this so much he wants to take this to Japan. And, obviously this year we had Night 3 of Wrestle Kingdom with Noah. Well, if you want Night 3 with AEW, I'm sure it'll draw comparable in Japan. So you won't have to leave Tokyo to do it. So obviously imagine whatever it could be for fly-ins, that sort of thing. Like, this was commercial or critically, whatever you want to call it. Like, either way, it's financial success anyway. Like, they had $1 million+ gate anyway. And who knows what the pay-per-view buys are? We'll figure that out. But, like, I mean, it would have to be all-time horrible for this not to come out where this wasn't a financial success as well. So, like, one-on-one this until the end of time. And you're never going to run out of matches. Ever.
Like, tons of, like, just great chemistry. Like, from the moment, like, the crowd, I could tell during the pre-show that the crowd was feeling it, that the wrestlers are feeling it. Like, when Yoshihashi and Goto are getting mega reactions in the pre-show, and and then Swerve and Lee and Destiny and Kanemaru just, like, rip it to shreds in the pre-show. Like, I could tell that it was a special evening on deck. So I don't know if you want to start, like, from the top or from, the bottom, like.
I mean, let's go through the whole show. Let's go through the whole show, because it was weird, because, like, I actually showed up to Zach's at, like, 10 minutes before the pre-show. And I normally, like, shit, what was it, Revolution, like, I think I got to my seat at, like, a second after the show started. Like, I'll show up late to a show or on time, or right when it shows up all the time. I'm not watch pre-shows. I showed up and watched this whole pre-show thing. Yeah, so, let's start from the top then.
Yeah, so, I guess the buy-in. So, we had, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defeating the Factory of Aaron Solo and QT Marshall.
Yep.
QT getting plenty of heat.
Yes.
We saw QT and Yoshihashi matched up against each other. I thought that was pretty funny. Goto and Yoshihashi haven't been this over ever.
Not in like 5 years.
Yeah, like, I don't want to say ever, but, like, I gotta imagine Yoshihashi almost wanted to call Mrs. Yoshihashi and be like, can I please stay for a little while? Can I stay for a couple weeks? I'm feeling good over here. They like me. They really like me.
I thought you were going to do the Harlem Nights, like, hey, baby, I'm never coming back.
You might have to say that for somebody else on the show. So, Hiroki Goto shows up, longtime veteran. Everyone loves Goto. Music hits in the arena. Aaron Solo was wrestling his ass off. He was wrestling like he was trying to pick up some extra bookings, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So this was solid as fuck. I'd probably say it was like 3 1/4, maybe 3 1/4. I'll probably go.
It was a good match. It was a good match. I wouldn't say it was a notebook, but it was a good match. Probably, you're probably 3 1/4. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we had Lance Archer representing Suzuki-gun. So take on Nick Komoroto. I didn't know this match was booked, but they showed up and they had like kind of a basic big man match, but Archer did like his flying stuff. I thought Komoroto was decent. The crowd was into it. This was actually a solid ad. I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at this match at all, and it made sense because it's Archer, and like you're really not going to have an Archer on this show, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like the match as well. Like probably like 3 flat.
Yeah. Then
by the way, it's understood, but both of them are strong as fuck lifting each other like that. Jesus Christ! Like I thought they were gonna come up with some other creative way for Archer to get the pin instead of hitting the blackout, and he still gave him the blackout. I was like, God damn, he's strong
with ease.
Yes, he's strong as fuck.
Tag team match. Swerve in Our Glory. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland defeating Suzuki-gun, El Desperado, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. This was excellent. Ahead of time, I had asked Swerve about this match. Like he told me that's who he was going to be getting booked against. I was like, that should be kind of interesting because I thought about Keith Lee being in there with those giant-sized guys, and then I thought about Swerve like working opposite of Despy. And then figuring how crafty Kanemaru was, I was like, and then thinking about like what the match kind of represented, like it was like a tight, easy match. And it's like either AEW is going to win or New Japan's going to win. And it actually was pretty intriguing for me. And I thought Suzuki-gun had a chance at stealing it. But they came in there and I went 4 stars on this, James. Like it.
I mean, off the top of my head, I probably thought high 3s. So yeah.
This was excellent. That ending.
The finish was a spectacular. I mean, Swerve, Jesus Christ,
spectacular.
Like, the kick, the super kick that were as Desperado's on the apron. Desperado is on the apron. Basically seated with his feet facing into the ring, and then Swerve super kicks him through the ropes. And then he basically like hangs off on his feet. So he's like just stuck there. And then he basically, does a slingshot double foot stomp to the ground. And then like he rolls through and rolls it away to where like he doesn't land on his leg or ankle to where he doesn't like tear an ACL or tweak an ankle and just rolls through. Like that was Swerve, man. Like he, like I know you know this dude or whatever else, but like, I was saying this shit to you before, like when he was just on NXT before you ever met him like that. I was like, dude, he's so fucking cold. He's saying nothing's changed.
Yep.
Like
he should get a logo where it's kind of like the Jordan logo, but it's him doing that kick that he does.
Oh, the house call?
Yeah, and it's like a silhouette of that, and that'd be his logo. That shit would be hard. But I thought Kanemaru was excellent in this match, starting from the very beginning of it, where he was just saying, all right, I'm going to do all my old man crafty stuff. I'm going to work the crowd a lot. I'm going to like go up. You want to do a test of shrimp? Nah, you're going to reach up to me. I'm going to go sit on the top rope.
Dude,
his whiskey spot. All that stuff was clever. How he was working the legs, like he was an assassin in there.
Yeah, like he was just doing like Def Yamasan spots. That was number Def Yamasan versus Lady C out there. Was like, oh, you're too tall to do the reach up there for the Greco-Roman knuckle lock. All right, I'll get up on a turnbuckle. Let's do it now. Now who's tallest? Yeah, like it just. I was sitting there saying that the Coffin and Zach, and they were just like, yeah, Zach was Dan was like, well, who? But yeah, like full on clown territory. Yeah, and then obviously working the leg was really well. Like I thought that Keith Lee sold the leg very well, and at times when I've seen him wrestle smaller people, it doesn't really work for me. This one worked better than most times.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an excellent match. And I would love to see Swerve and Despy hook it up again.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully we see that. I would love for Lee and Swerve to go do World Tag League or something.
Yeah, do you think
they're still together like that? That would be pretty interesting. I think I would like to see the Japanese audience, like Keith Lee, would instantly get over.
Yeah.
Look how big he is.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the second he has a match with Shingo or Ishii or Goto, he's getting over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we had the 8-man tag, Max Caster and the Gun Club defeating the LA Dojo Young Lions of Alex Coughlin, Kevin Knight, the DKC, and Yuya Uemura. They immediately sent the Gun Brothers back to the back, and we got Max Caster, babyface worker in peril. He did, the rap, and his rap was actually pretty funny. It was like, well, watch Shibata's balls and them being in the gym and all that other stuff. But you can't have an American show with New Japan without Billy Gunn. And Billy Gunn got in there, and that man looks like a cyborg to this day. Like,
dude, he was in there with Coughlin, and Coughlin's, chiseled out of granite, and it's like, yeah, you're chiseled out of granite, but I'm a bigger boulder. It's like,
right.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, he looks like because and also he's getting older, and he keeps doing the tan, so like, yeah, it's like the skin is getting like weird, so he's starting to look more and more like the Thing from Fantastic Four. Like, he was looking more and more like Ben Grimes every week, and like. Whatever, like this whole scissor me daddy thing and the ass boy thing, like that thing has gotten Billy Gunn and the Acclaim like way more over than they were before, even with the rap thing. Like, they're gonna have to turn babyface eventually, like within the next 6 months.
I feel like that's what this was like, a test run for that. Like, we sent the Guns out of there, and then Max Caster was the babyface apparel the whole match, and then Billy got his hot tag, Max got the pin, and we'll see where it goes. But
how badly is Bones injured? Like, I know he's in the wheelchair, but I don't know if that's for effect or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look into that,
because it seems like if he was super bad injured, like if he was Omega injured, which is as more than just your knee, but like if he was, where it's like, if he tore ACL or something like that, it's like, does it mean that, like, should he even be out there? But like, obviously it's part of the act, and him doing the fat man scoop yell, what is he says, ass boys, like, yeah, maybe he still needs to do that, but if he's doing that for like, at this point, he's been out a couple months now. If he's doing this for another 6 months, I don't know what the evolution of the storyline is with all of that over 6 months. I don't know how you hold that down or keep that, fresh for 6 months.
Yeah. But let's get to the main card here. Awesome pre-show. One of the better ones. We had a 6-man tag opening up. Minoru Suzuki and the Jericho Appreciation Society of Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. They took on Eddie Kingston, Shota Umino, and Wheeler Yuta, the biggest star in the business. And man, this was phenomenal. One of the best openers of a pay-per-view you're ever going to see. Shota Umino has completely, he looked like a Tanahashi clone out there. If you give Ace his young legs back and his body and his like hair at his peak,
he's not nearly,
maybe not the hair.
He's not nearly. Well, I mean, the hair color is clearly to be. I mean, like the hair color, is more like Naito, but like the styling is more like Tanahashi's.
Yeah,
and then like with the long pants, yeah, like I mean, obviously he's not like. He looks like a young like a younger Tanahashi that's like not as purely ripped as Tanahashi used to be in his peak. Because peak Tanahashi's out here looking like damn near like Pac. But yeah.
Like, this was incredible, I thought. From like,
he moves
Suzuki.
A lot better too because he's lost weight and his body's transformed. Like, he moves a lot better in the ring from what I remember. I was telling that to Dan and Zach.
They should immediately take his passport and cross out the UK. You're not allowed to re-enter the country. You're staying here, Shota Umino, until it's time for you to go back. So
I was asking Dan, like, and Zach, like, how's he doing over there? And they're like, it's mixed bag. Like, if it is a mixed bag, he needs to just come here. He's already over. He already has an angle right in play. He's going to get better exposure. There's more talent here in AEW. Like, I mean, we've talked about this a lot about, as far as, especially when the factory showed up at Strong Style Evolved, like, getting, like, the LA Dojo people and also some of, like, Ren Narita, for example, or Uemura, or Umino, like, get them on Darks and whatever else, like, or get them in American Indies doing like stuff like, maybe not Takeshi, because Takeshi is obviously more advanced than them, but like, they have names for themselves just being on a show like this. They can get booked.
Right. These guys are recognizable. They were over. Chris Jericho looked at Shota and decided, like, it's me and you tonight. Like, and Chris Jericho gets somebody else over. Like, we always talk about, like, wrestlers that have no clue of how to get somebody over. Or, like, we have people pining for wrestlers who've never gotten somebody over. Like, Jericho is just a master. And I've sung his praises really heavily this last year. The smartest guy in wrestling, like, and I don't know if it's, you know, particularly close. Like, he just knows what's going to get over, when it's going to get over, how long it's going to take, and he can almost get anything or anyone over. Like, still, and he was in there working his ass off, like, as a worker, getting slammed by Wheeler Yuta, like, over and over again. Sammy looked great in this match. Loved all white gear. And this was, I think I went 4.5 on this in the opener. Like, this was just like a blitzkrieg of a 6-man to kick this thing off.
I mean, I didn't give this a number, but like, I definitely had it over 4.
Yeah, like, cool spot. Umino was putting Jericho in the walls as a callback to
when the Wrestle Kingdom match with Omega. He beats up Red Shoes and Umino, I think.
Yep. Yeah. And they do the angle later on where Jericho, congratulates him, tells him he respects him, and then he hits him, with the fireball because he's a wizard, and keeps an angle going. Something's there, so maybe they do a match down the road. Like, I would request Shota Umino if I was TK. He ain't doing shit in the UK.
I mean, can we also get Yota Tsuji too? Like, bring them all over. Fuck it.
Sure. ROH and IWGP dual tag team title match. FTR took on Roppongi Vice and United Empire. This match started like kind of slow, and then they did this injury angle with Dax. I knew it was a work immediately.
Same here.
Like, he hit it, and I was like, man, he did that pretty hard, and then he rolled out. And then once I noticed that Cash was trying to tag like the person, I was like, oh, okay, he'll be back out. Like, it was like immediately. I was like, hold on.
What I noticed was like how do I say this? How not agitated it was that he just went to the back, and I was like, oh, he's coming back. It's fine.
Right.
Because I was like, because ain't no way that that dude was gonna have a shoulder injury that didn't involve like like my arm just completely went dead. That doesn't involve him like fighting like hell to say, get the hell away from me. I'm continuing in this match because I'm about to be IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Champion. Like, he wasn't. There was no way. We know that. Look, we know him. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't buy it, but this crowd did, because like they did, a lot of this match,
they were like, "Oh my god, this whole show is cursed."
Man.
And now, yes, and it killed the crowd until he showed back up, and once he came back, I was like, "Thank you, finally this crowd can come back." Because like I was like, "Oh, y'all were too smart for your own good on this one." They fully believe this one.
Yep. So maybe FTR are some of the last workers. So everyone just believes them.
Yeah, but this one worked out to your detriment, so maybe never do that again.
Yeah. So we had in this match, there was a lot of great work. I thought Cobb was awesome. Rocky Romero and Trent, like, they were getting pinned, but they let them do their thing. Dax tweeted an hour ago he had a separated shoulder. He's capping, lying. Anything else you want to add? He'll be booked within the next 2 weeks. Watch.
I mean, it doesn't matter. We just saw Sting and Bobby Fish both get Pillmanized and like wrestle like 2 weeks within 2 weeks of each other, or show up within 2 weeks of each other. Like, yeah. At least they're taking people off TV for when they have an injury, so whatever. But yeah, we'll I guess he'll show up with the tape on for a while.
Yeah, but this ended up turning into a really great match towards the end. FTR wins, and they win their 7th different tag team title. James, have you noticed how they've tried to reappropriate the Stars into like what they call themselves 7-star FTR now. Before they were 6-star FTR.
No, I was unaware.
You know, the stars are normally given out by Dave, and Star Raiders and Grapple and Cage Match. These boys have decided to reappropriate it into how many different championships they won all over the world,
Well,
so
good for them, I guess.
Look, I peeped your manuscript, FTR. what you trying to do here? But besides that, it should be pretty cool. We know they don't really care about tag team wrestling in New Japan, so FTR culture appropriators, stop. I don't
Who
know
said
who
that?
Brewhaven. So I don't know who they're going to wrestle in New Japan for those belts, but there's a super match around the corner where we talked about on this show. If it was last week, maybe.
Yeah. I got mad at people and said stop being dumb, and like sure enough, like Dave Meltzer, like last night on Observer Radio reviewing the show, said, "Well, they could do this." I was like, "Yeah, they could."
That's what's happening, Dave.
I peeped this before you did.
Ahead, come to the light with your boys.
Yeah.
But besides that, AEW All Atlantic 4-Way, Pac versus Clark Connors versus Malachi Black versus Miro. This match started. It was a little bit slow, I thought. Then it just started.
It broke into basically like two separate matches where Connors and Miro were separated each other, and then you had Pac and Malachi working off their Kings of the Black Throne and Death Triangle thing, and like ultimately you kept seeing like Miro just no selling and eating Clark Connors lunch at times. It was, yeah.
And then like something like crazy happened. Like the entire arena came alive. For Clark Connors just wanted to see him rise the fuck up, essentially.
Yeah.
So
he's getting bullied.
Like there was a table on the outside of the ring, and all of a sudden Connors like sends Miro through that shit.
Yep.
Crowd goes fucking insane. They're all chanting "Let's go Clark" at the top of their lungs, and then it hit me. It was like, bro, all these dudes are coming to fight for respect. Like, and then like I was thinking about United Empire in the match before. I was thinking about Shota Umino. I was thinking about Despy and Kanemaru, and I was like, yo, they're showing up to prove a point. Clark Connors, you gotta imagine he was on Twitter seeing how disappointed people were that he was in the match, and then Ishii wasn't here for this one, right? And then it just worked out, and he got himself over,
right? And I remember, and you also got to think about it when it comes to the Excursion guys and LA Dojo guys. All of them dudes are already cold. All of them are all good ass wrestlers right now today, and we've known that for at least months or maybe even a couple years. We've known some of these young lions were good as hell, like Narita, like Yuya, right? So in that system, it takes so long to break through. No disrespect, that's how they do it. They've made some of the best wrestlers that have ever existed. I ain't knocking the system, but you gotta wait, and then you get a show like this. Like when is the next time Shota's gonna be in front of 16,000 people?
Who knows?
And be a focal point of a trios match or whatever else. It may be it might be 2-3 years. Yes, it was gassed. And also like these matches were the spotlight. Some of the things like that Clark Connors thing was like just sure flat out like, I mean, it may as well have been like Minoru bullying a young boy, right? And then eventually he gets, except he actually was able to put him through a table. You never get to put Minoru through a table.
There was a lot of, if you were taking the pin, we were going to put the spotlight on you. And that philosophy goes back to All In when Bandito was getting pinned.
Yep. That's a lot. That's a lot of AEW matches. That's what got Jungle Boy over. That's what got Darby over. Like, we're going to show you have all the heart in the world. You're going to lose, but you're going to show all the heart in the world and show that you can do X, Y, and Z, but you're going to lose, but we're going to make people be like, he lost, but he's fucking coming. Good. Right. Yeah. And people appreciate the fact that they know what it is. Like, yeah, you're going to lose. It's a bigger star, but like, look out for him in the future. Like, that is that's how the pillars took off. That's how we got the killers. That's how we got the Willer Yuta, as you make the joke about his biggest star in the biz, because of that fucking Moxie match and the other match he had with Danielson. So yeah.
Yep. Clark Connors won the whole crowd over. I think people wanted him to win. There was a point in the match I thought he was gonna win, because I started thinking, I was like, man, they gave FTR those belts. Mox is gonna get that one. Could they was Ishii gonna actually win this? And then could they just put it on Clark Connors? Could it happen? Didn't happen. But whatever. I'd like to see Clark Connors come in and fight Pac in the next couple of weeks, and then Pac. He finds Malachi Black and Clark Connors in some type of armbar situation, gives him the 450, hits him, and then basically puts Connors in that in a brutalizer.
Yep.
And then
genius finish.
A man that has been here from day one gets a belt put on him, and I am very happy for that gentleman.
Yeah. I thought this finish was ingenious. I thought that, also it was a Brock Lesnar match with Miro playing Brock Lesnar. It's a 4-way, it's a multi-person match. Miro is unstoppable. Everybody has to conspire to take him off the table, including all the hits and shots from Pac and Malachi that led to the spear from Connors through the table. He's taking off the table for forever. All of a sudden he rises up and then wrecks shop, and then the only thing that stops him is the part where Malachi spits mist to his face and takes him completely off the table after that. But that was a bit Brock Lesnar in a multi-person match, and then you get the finish, as you mentioned, with the armbar, and then 450 on the armbar takes Malachi out of the ring or off the table, and then you put a brutalizer on a bad arm. I thought it was a ingenious finish. I loved it. It was one of my favorite finishes of the year.
Yep, I'm going 4.25 for that. I'm also going 4.5 for the tag match. So I'm at 4.5, 4.5, 4.25. So I was doling the stars out tonight.
Yeah, you were.
It was just I could feel the atmosphere, because like I said, in the movie theater, the commentary couldn't really play that loud, so I didn't really get the commentary experience of normally watching it. But
you would have liked it more. You would have liked it more with the commentary.
They had the crowd kind of piped in to where we could hear it the most. So we were kind of in the action with the crowd, with the huge screen.
How was it as far as talking to whoever was next to you, or because how many people were with you?
4.
You were all adjacent to each other?
Yeah, we were all in a row.
Were you able to talk, or were you just nah, I need to be quiet? Because
we were able to talk. We were yelling. We were acting normal, the whole theater was.
Oh,
so it wasn't like it was watching a movie. Okay,
so in the future, going forward, you go to that, I will not be there with you as you act up in public like that. Because me and Dan were talking man, if Kenny Omega shows up, I'm glad I'm not fucking around there with Rich. You imagine, and then you're can you imagine being in the next theater, you watching some I don't know, some indie movie, and all of a sudden you hear, "Let's fucking go!" from the arena, from the theater over. I was like, man, nah, I ain't gonna let Rich and Brett shout at me like that. Nah. So yeah, you can see you going to that theater, and I'll watch it somewhere else.
So we had the 6-man tag match. Of course, Hiromu Takahashi missed this one. Dudes with Attitude. So that's Darby Allin, Sting, and Shingo Takagi took on the Bullet Club of El Phantasmo. Matt and Nick Jackson, one night only, came out the full throwback Bullet Club gear. Looked like it was literally from another time.
Yeah, it had because they had ROH on it and all that, and then apparently they put the Young Bucks Super Kick Skull Bullet Club shirt on sale this week or something on Pure Wrestling Tees. I think they mentioned that on commentary. And they played the music after they gave you the entrance or whatever else. And I gotta say, I don't know if you realize this, but Hikuleo makes a great Kevin Nash. he really does. Because he has the big hair. He has presence about him. He really does make a good stand in Kevin Nash, whether he knows it or not. He really did. Because once the screamers flew and he has the big, in the air, I was yeah, it feels real 98 WCW right now.
So this started with a bang. Shingo comes out, gets a great reaction. Double digit view, or excuse me, what's that? Over 20 live concurrent viewers. Hey, come rock on the lives with your boys. Appreciate everybody checking in with us. But Darby comes out with Sting. Darby's in the ring. Shingo's in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Sting's music hits. Doesn't come out. They're in the United Center, so immediately I think he's going to rappel from the ceiling.
I thought the same exact thing, and then I thought to myself, I can't remember. I could have sworn it was Chicago, so it may have been the United Center, but I couldn't remember. But I was like, was it Chicago? And
it was the United Center.
Okay, all right.
So like that's what I thought, and then Jamie was like, "Oh my God, he's going to do it!" And then like
I was like, "Are they going to let him do it?" Given that like we don't do that ever since Owen Hart,
right? That hit me after, but then they do the fake out like with the long range Sting and
the long con is like, hey, because like obviously turn off the lights, you flash the spotlight up there, people are looking over there, and then like over here, and then like Sting has a chance to climb up the thing, and then they turn the lights off again, and then they flash the spotlight on like he's fucking Batman, and then he does the dive, and I was just like, God damn it, Sting. I don't know how much longer this is going to continue, but like Sting will never miss. He just won't.
All time. Bro, I like Sting. I'm enjoying Sting more now than any point of his career.
I can't say that because Sting's my third favorite wrestler of all time, but I do get the sentiment.
He never wrestled back then when I was watching.
Oh, well, I watched Surfer Sting too. I grew up on Surfer Sting. So like it's a little different. But like I gotta say, like this Sting keep this up, it might turn to a 3-way tie at the top, Rich. It might.
He dove off him. Then they do, a awesome 6-man. Shingo, was on vacation a little bit, but I'll let Shingo. Oh yeah, he was. I think he may have took one bump, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so maybe he took one bump, but as far as like the way he looked in the ring, he looked still as impressive and sharp as ever. Like I didn't think like, I saw finish on mission. He thought he took it easy, but I was like, well, who are you supposed to do his thing with? Nick and Matt Jackson? Is he supposed to do his thing with ELP? Like, I don't really remember much of either one of them dudes doing like hyper brawling, But yeah, I thought when he was in, he was great, impressive. Like he normally is, fast, powerful, and for me, like he was doing the hits. But I thought like I enjoyed the hell out of it because it's Shingo and he's great.
Yep. First time Darby and the Bucks were in the ring together. Would love to see more of that combo.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. I think you got to do Sting and Darby against the Bucks. As a tag defense.
Yes.
And
we've been talking about that for months now. They need a tag title shot. Yeah.
Yep. ELP and Matt Jackson exchanging back scratches. I fucking loved it. ELP was sensational in this match. The big moonsaults, the shit headery.
Yes.
This was another one that ruled, and like the Bucks hitting Sting with the big super kicks, Sting cranking up with the beating on the chest. ELP was beating on his chest at one point.
Before we got to the double super kick no sell, I had stood up like already expecting there to be eventually like at the spot in the match where it was going to be a no sell, and like I thought that Sting was about to no sell ELP's low blow, but then he sold it, and I was like, oh well, that makes sense. I'm tripping, James. And then the second the super kick out, I was like, this is it. He about to no sell that shit. Man, I lost it when he did that shit. I was like, outstanding. I already knew. I was waiting for it. I need Sting to. This formula will never go old. It will never tire. It will never bore. Sting is in peril. He no sells one thing and then fires up and the crowd goes wild. It always works.
Bro, this just shouldn't be possible, bro.
It shouldn't. He's 63.
He's 63.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be. Like, this is the best old man, like super old man. I feel like we need tiers of like old man wrestler, right? There's like 45-year-olds, 50-year-olds. Like, this guy's like somewhere else. Like, there's like 55 even.
I'd have
he's
to,
like beyond that.
I mean, I'd have to figure out like which like luchadors is still, can
like
do
Negro
it.
Casas is like 60 something.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. I have to figure out like which ones. But like, because I mean, I don't think like Ultimate Guerrero's not that old. He's old, but he's not that old.
Yeah.
I don't think. My point is like, Sting is doing some shit that like you shouldn't be able to do at 63 and you're like 30 plus years into, way more, like damn near 40 years in the business.
Yeah.
Or 35.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But EOP ends up getting pinned by Shingo. So if you're counting the politics, that's New Japan guy beats New Japan guy here. And so that one was awesome also. So I think I was like 4 1/3 on this match. In between.
Match was fun as hell. Like, can you imagine if Hiromu had been in this match?
Man, they'd have figured it. Like, bro, it would have gone even crazy.
Because there was I forgot what the spot was with Hikuleo, but Hikuleo interfered, and then obviously the Hills got the advantage. But then like later, like they took Hikuleo off the table. Like, yeah, man, like just. This was a bad show for the Will Ospreay and the Young Bucks don't know how to tell stories.
We gonna get
what?
That.
What?
Yeah, like the Bucks came out immediately. Like as soon as the match rang, like with just like sensational double team moves. It was just like, look, man, I know y'all see these boys. Like don't try to play them. Like don't try to play them no more, man. Up next, we have the AEW Women's World Title match. Thunder Rosa defending against Toni Storm. I like this a lot, James.
This is a good match.
I didn't go 4 stars on it. I went 3.75. But in 10 minutes, I thought they hit each other hard. And it was like they were hitting each other like the doctrine was lifted. Like it was like, all right, y'all can actually go ahead and hit each other. And then they did. Thunder Rosa came out looking like a woman Shao Kahn. And I thought her gear, like, it's not often that you outdo Toni Storm with the gear. Thunder did. So
it reminded me of like the Miro gold or red and gold gear. I don't know if they have the same person making their gear, but like it reminded me of that. I like the like the head dress and like the gauntlet she was wearing. Yeah, like her gear was great. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, lots of great, like, technical work in the beginning, and then they started hitting each other, and then finish kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if everyone was prepared for Thunder to use Dustin Rhodes' finish.
Especially when it's less dangerous or less gruesome looking than a Thunder fire driver.
Yeah. So Thunder retains. A lot of people have questions about what's happening with Toni Storm next.
Like, Thunder Rosa took like 75% of the match. Also, another thing, the first half of the match, and this, I don't know if this is Thunder Rosa getting herself too hyped up. I don't know what it is, but it seems to me like she's pacing herself way too ambitiously to go whatever distance she's gone. Like, this happened in the Deeb match a month ago. This happened where it's like, once you get to a certain point, just out of sheer tired, out of the exhaustion from working at that such a brisk pace, like, you can see it coming out of you can see the starch coming out of her matches. I don't recall ever seeing this before with her. I don't know what it is, but like, I think she's a bit ambitious to start. But
I gotta say this though.
But
perhaps, James, we should not judge Thunder Rosa off of wrestling Marina Shafir.
Oh yeah,
and decide she's a bad wrestler. Perhaps we should not do that as a community.
Yeah. I can't speak on the in and outs of whatever happened with that one. But like, I had never saw Thunder Rosa having this situation before. Like, the only people that I've heard, do anything involving corroborating the stories, Marina Shafir and Britt Baker. And like, gotta say, in the ring, if you ask me my opinion on whose skill I respect more in the ring, it's Thunder Rosa instead of those two. So it's like, and then, this is continued, and Marina Shafir's in the ring with other people, with Toni Storm, and it doesn't work out that well. And like, it's weird. It was all weird how that worked out. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was a bad week for everybody involved. But yeah, man, like you barking up the wrong tree with that one. You just were. It's weird, man. It's really weird how that worked out. It's really weird.
I think they can attempt to continue this. Maybe like you just keep a link somehow. Yeah. But Tony's got to regroup a little bit. I don't think you can put her near Jade immediately. Jade's a little tied up. But there will be something. Hikaru Shida's somewhere, so she'll come back and maybe you can do something. That's
what I'm thinking of, because like they got to have a match. They haven't done a match after what they did when Shida was champion.
Yep. Then IWGP United States Heavyweight Title match. Jim Ross brings his ass out to the ring. Then it's Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. Gotta put glasses on. Will Ospreay came and he decided he was not leaving the United Center without 5 stars. Orange Cassidy has a 5-star match.
Think so?
I know so. This was incredible. The counters, the near falls, the just these guys like having the super match, like the insane working, the moves, baby, and it was just like, yeah. Yes, with Orange Cassidy, indeed. Shout out to Lothero Negro. Wrestling for respect. Personally, I wanted to see something else in the match. I didn't have a problem with it being Orange Cassidy, but I would have preferred seeing a different guy against Will. Mm-hmm. However, these guys decided, you didn't need to see anybody else, Rich. Like this is what it is. And we seen Juice Robinson do an interview. Can we talk about Juice real quick?
Sure.
This man's a total gimmick.
Well, yeah, he's always been a total gimmick.
Look,
always.
That's it. Like,
okay. When have you not seen Juice Robinson or CJ Parker in gimmick? When have you not seen it? I've never seen him be a normal person ever.
Right.
Ever.
Rock hard, indeed. But as far as this match goes, absolutely spectacular. Yep. Only 16 minutes, 16:43. Like I mentioned, the Aussie Open was outside taking bumps for OC and getting flipped on and stuff. If you haven't seen this, go out of your way. This is going to be on my match of the year stuff at the end of the year, most likely. And this was just like, like when I didn't know that we were getting this. Like, this is going to be that good, but I shouldn't have doubted, because Will Ospreay is like on another level right now.
Yeah.
He people talking this wrestler of the year stuff, and y'all trying to put a little short dude with a mustache over Will Ospreay. I think you need to get your eyes checked, get your brain examined.
So
stop this.
Yeah, and also like this isn't even close to his best match this year. I'm watching the match, and my bar is the Pac Orange Cassidy match, and then like at some point I'm like, okay, this is better. How much better? And then I want to say probably like the last near fall, I was like, fine, fuck it, 4 3/4. That's what I was like, fine, like you have, this is officially 4 3/4. I'm not gonna argue with you. And then like the match is over, and I was like, yeah, damn, like, god damn, this is a fucking comedy match. This is a comedy match. He's goofing around and doing all the goofy shit that Orange Cassidy does, and the West Coast pop and all that. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, like Ospreay's so good, man. Like, I don't know how many people, because I think this is a big shot in the arm for a lot of the people in New Japan, for the Western fans that, have left off, once AEW and the pandemic, popped off. But, like, this dude has been doing this for 3 years now, at this level. And, like, I can never get tired of the dude. I just can't. Like everything you can want out of a pro wrestler in the ring, he do it. He's strong as hell. He's agile as hell. He's like he can brawl it out with you. Excellent striker. Like incredible bumper. Like
flips.
Yeah, man. That dude is like
selling.
And then with his size, that makes him like
storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah, like
spectacular maneuvers.
Yeah, and then also like the
sequencing
the Rev Pro match, like the storytelling thing or whatever else. Like one of the better storytelling matches or heat matches of the year. Like he has a impressive skill set as a in-ring performer right now that like I don't think anyone else can consistently keep up with right now. And I've he's an all-time great and he's 29.
Like I don't know who you're trying. Like people are trying to bring up like to disparage Will, but like
I saw someone bring up Seth Rollins, and I was like
that's lunacy.
Like this dude just had like what would be Seth Rollins' best WWE match, and it was a fucking comedy match.
Absolute lunacy. I don't know what the smoking would be. I don't know if it's the fentanyl they're hitting or whatever. But
I mean, you like what you like, but like I can't. There's no way you're gonna play whatever Will Ospreay match, top level Will Ospreay match. Play it first, and then play a Seth Rollins match behind it from his WWE career, and be like, oh yeah, these are on the same level. I don't think it's even. I don't mean it like. It's not even fair to Seth because like the pacing and the pacing and the striking thing is such a difference or whatever else. But like, nah, man. Like, there is nothing that Seth Rollins has done in WWE that touches his Will Ospreay's main event match at Wrestle Kingdom this year. Nothing.
If there was a versus battle or something, he would get smoked. Like,
yeah, and like. Even a match with somebody that's like he's persona non grata. Like the match where he fucked up his neck in 2018, going into WrestleMania week against
Marty.
Against Marty. That match is a smoker. That's a 5-star match or whatever you want to call it. Like he has a bunch of those.
Just like Kenny said.
Yeah. That's also hilarious. Like it's like clearly that he's being a dick and passive aggressive to set up this thing. Like who knows when we get it? I hope we get it in Japan.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Return to the Dome. Please.
I think within the next year it's happening. It's got to.
Please. So then up next we got Zack Sabre Jr. against a mystery opponent. And then the music hits, and the best music of said wrestler's career rings out.
Well, except for the time he was tagged with Jack Swagger in the Real Americans, but outside of that,
he was kind of like renting and licensing that music out.
Yeah.
It wasn't his, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But Claudio Castagnoli makes his debut, and then proceeds to like. In like 13 seconds, they were following like that high level match, and they did something to immediately grab the attention of the crowd again, like where it wasn't no come down. It was like, oh, we still got to be engaged. So that was very smart of them to do that squash tease.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of Orton hitting the RKO on Triple H at WrestleMania 25, like in the first like minute. It was like, what do you? Oh, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the crowd, but obviously like. It was totally different. Like, eventually, like once Sabre started slapping on a million or 1,000 different variations of the same hold, like on the mat, like the crowd cooled down, and then they were waiting for him to make a big comeback, and then he did, and they were really waiting on that swing, which they were kind of disappointed that he only gave him 5, but he gave him like 20 at the end of the show. They just didn't know they were going to get 20 at the end of the show.
Comes out, different gear, Blackpool Combat Club style jacket on. He's going by Claudio.
Why Cesaro look like all the stuff he wears is like for sale at like an apparel shop? Like he actually has his own gear. Like he sells Claudio, like Body by Claudio. Get you some. You want some compression shorts? Got you. You need some knee wraps for you to do jerks and cleans. I got you.
The chat looking after us. We kind of glossed over the post match. Will Ospreay then in Aussie Open begin to start kicking the shit out of Orange Cassidy, and all of a sudden, like, the soft piano music hits. Oh my god! Like, and it's like, it's just, everybody's like kind of looking around.
Bro, my eyes bugged out. I was like, "Oh, Shibata!" I yelled it out loud. I was like, "Oh shit, Shibata!" And then the crowd popped, and then like more people realized like that's Shibata's music, and then they started getting louder and louder. That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah. It was like people like jumping up and down. They were just like in absolute disbelief. Like, is it him? I can't believe it. Like, I know this song, but there's no fucking way. Like, and it was just, it was awesome, man. Seeing Shibata came out there, Will's been doing a lot of like yapping about Shibata, basically saying he's a bitch, he's broke up, he's all this other stuff. And he comes out and you get your angle kind of further there. I don't know if they're actually going to put Shibata back in the ring or anything, but
they're not.
As far as like what this was, like this was just like, this was great. Like this was like, he comes in, kicks all the ass, and sends the crowd like, it was real nice. Like it was something that was just like, damn, this is I hate to say it, a moment.
It was fun as hell, man. It's like someone had to clear house and was like, who was going to do it? Because Okada was already in the main event. He wasn't going to come out. So it's like, who was it going to be?
Right.
So it ended up being Shibata. It makes all the sense in the world. Like, yeah, I loved it. Like, and like, this is a person, like, when people talk about, like, who are these guys, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, this is a person that, like, career effectively ended in mid or spring of 2017.
Right.
It's 2022 in the summer. He comes out and he's over like a god in Chicago. Like, pack it up. I'm done. I don't want to hear
like
this shit
next
ever.
Time...
I never want to hear this shit ever again about New Japan or Japanese wrestlers and blah, 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 blah. This fucking company exists because most of the fucking top guys made names for themselves in Japan. This was a stupid premise to begin with. And it was always like, why do we have to entertain this? Why do we have to hear this from people?
You know how many minutes of time?
How much time? Was it hours or minutes? Which one was it?
Yeah, it's whatever it was immediate, right? But do you know how much time we had to devote in discourse to that, like, dumb shit? Like, we have more than enough proof at this point. Feel free to send this clip out when, like, clip this, do whatever you want. Like, say, we're not listening to you. It is stupid. Like, it is dumb. Come to 2022 with us. Like, this isn't like, this isn't Dick Togo and Kaientai showing up in the WWF in 1997 when people have dial-up internet, like, and they're reading Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Like, and be like, oh, I think I recognize that guy from Michinoku Pro. Oh, he looks like he was a scrambled name in the WCW video games. We're in a different world now. Yeah. I don't know what it's going to take for people to understand this, but like, New Japan and AEW, they're linked. It's just like Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan Pro Wrestling. It's just like All Japan Pro Wrestling and JWP. Like, it's born out of each other. Like, their roots go back together. Like, there's no getting around it.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, the people that say this are people that are obviously
afraid.
No, or they are WWE fans and WWE crowds. If someone outside of like an Okada Tanahashi comes out, Naito, maybe it is some issue, right? But these aren't those fans. Like, there's a reason why, like, these shows that are shitty that WWE puts on in the last couple years don't get crowds, throwing beach balls and doing the wave and all that kind of shit anymore. They don't get hijacked anymore because the people that actually are, I don't want to say real fans, but are hardcore fans or whatever else, like, they have left out of that and be like, I ain't got to do this shit no more just because I love wrestling. Like, there's better wrestling. I ain't gonna have to pretend to like this bad, crummy wrestling that's going on right here anymore, or mostly crummy wrestling anymore. I can leave. So, like, y'all have y'all wrestling. we have our wrestling. If you want to intertwine and watch both, no one's mad at either one for watching either. But like, if you're in the zone of like, the only thing that works is what Vince McMahon has been able to pull off for the last 40 years.
Like, no, there's another way.
There's more than one way to be successful in pro wrestling. Case in point, Shibata. And also, we're noticing like when American wrestlers come over or star wrestlers that are American come over to Japan, they almost always get over. You ever notice that? But like, the other way, but the other way around, it doesn't. It's almost as if it is a WWE fan conditioning problem.
Look, Konosuke Takeshita came out to crickets, and then they saw the man work, and it was like, oh, he's made now. Like, right. And it's like just a lot more willingness to accept people. Like, and I guarantee you, like,
if you're good, you're good. Period.
You're good. And also that speaks to the New Japan exposure, like being different from, like, say, the DDT exposure or something like that.
Yes,
but like, so. People are doing the questioning of the New Japan people. Like, they're asking, who is Tanahashi? Like, are people going to know who Yes, they're going to know who Tanahashi is. Like,
who is this person that has sold out buildings, for over a decade? A guy that drew 40,000 once. Who is this guy?
Right.
Who is this guy that sold 40,000? Who the fuck has done that? That hasn't been in WWE in our lifetimes.
Like, a few of them work for New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW. Like,
what would you be like? Okay, so you say like Tanahashi, Omega, Kobashi, I guess at some point, probably, right? Yeah. Like what are you saying? Like, I get what you're trying to say, but there's no way you can get around it without teasing it. It's like, you think there's somebody's racism that's getting in the way, whether it's yours or it's the fans. And just say that and leave us the fuck alone.
Please. Claudio Castagnoli, like I mentioned before, and then they start with that squash tease in the beginning. Then it breaks down and they have a hell of a match. No shocker there. Like, I said a lot.
In New Hampshire, all roads lead to adventure. The Granite State isn't only home to New England's tallest peaks. You'll also find epic coastal views and charming towns perfect to explore on a summer trip. Whether you're seeking the adrenaline rush that comes from kayaking rapids or the peaceful chill that comes from enjoying a cocktail on the porch of a classic B&B, there's something for everyone in New Hampshire. For more summer inspiration, go to visitnh.gov. That's visitnh.gov. Discover your new.
Target has Laundry Day covered because they offer a great selection of concentrated Tide Pods to help with all your laundry needs. Tide Pods clean, freshen, and help rejuvenate your clothes with odor fighters and stain removers. Did you know Tide Pods clean better than the leading liquid bargain detergent? Tide Pods are powerful enough to make your whites white and your brights bright, even in cold water. Just toss in 1 Tide Pod for small loads, 2 for medium, 3 for large. It's that easy. For great value and convenient pickup options, get Tide Pods today at Target.
Things about Mr. Castagnoli last week
but you know what you did, though? You said while saying that, he's also one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen in my life.
Right. I said, absolutely phenomenal wrestler. I have no qualms about the man's wrestling ability. I'm not under any delusion, nothing. Like, it's just like, all right, like, I'm just figuring, like, where, like, there's just so many guys. There's so many guys, not enough spots. But I guess, people talk about roster bloat and the roster being so bloated. That bloated roster is saving them right now while all these people are injured and on the shelf and all that. Because what do? Next man up. And this was like the personification of next man up.
Yep.
It wasn't Bryan Danielson, but it was Claudio Castagnoli. Like, it great in a whole different way. And
might not be the greatest wrestler ever, but it might be like the most talented dude I've ever seen in the ring. We can swap those out. The most physically gifted person I've maybe ever seen in the ring, like when it comes to strength, speed, and size. Yeah, sure, okay.
There's a lot of opponents. He mentioned in the press conference possibly wanting to run it with Kenny. He also mentioned, I think it was Orange Cassidy, if I'm not mistaken.
I would love that match.
Yeah, so like anybody that's a high flyer, cool. Anybody that's a host, cool. Anybody that's a super wrestler or super worker, cool. Anybody want to brawl, cool. Like Hangman, cool. Bring him in. Like I would love for that. Do that. But I don't. So Blackpool Combat Club, he joins that. He gets a win over Sabre, so he's in Blood and Guts Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So he's got a nice launch into the company. Yep.
He probably takes basically like the same exact spot that whatever was going to happen in the blow up between Danielson and Kingston that may have happened storyline wise. Like it just transfers over to Claudio.
Yes.
Because Kingston also apparently has some old country beef with with Claudio too.
Yep.
So there you go. Man. And also same thing, like Moxie still has the same admiration and friendship and kinship or whatever you want to call it with Claudio that he has with Danielson. Probably more. Like, yeah, man, he that book, like he's like gushing about Claudio.
So then we got the IWGP World Heavyweight title match. Jay White taking on Adam Cole, Adam Page, and Kazuchika Okada. These entrances felt big time. It was just like, man, like the commentary that was putting over Okada was awesome. I did catch that part. Just seeing how these guys were received, the crowd like going absolute apeshit. Jay White was hyping up the crowd. When do you ever see that? In the beginning of a match, Adam Cole was getting people to crank up. Okada was telling people to crank up. Like it was like it felt like a really big match environment.
When Gato showed up, I was like, "This is
I was fucking dying when I saw Gato.
This is an authentic New Japan Pro Wrestling experience." So yeah, I was, yeah, man. One thing I would note is like they put the belt on
that coin drop pop, by the way.
Yeah.
It exists.
Oh yeah. So I was Okada comes out and he gets the biggest pop of the four by far. And it's like, I hope y'all really didn't put this belt on Jay White because y'all thought a white man needed to get over in fucking America to make this shit work, because Okada's over like a god here too. What do you think of the match though? Or do you want to go through the match?
I thought the match was good, and then
Same.
like the finish like handicapped him because obviously Cole got his head bust or something happened.
Yeah. I popped when I started the timer because I was like, all right, how long until Jay White does something? It took, I think it was like 80 seconds. It's 80 seconds. So not as bad as some G1 things, but it was a 4-way. So Okada does the the dive over the barricade, which, authentic New Japan Pro Wrestling experience. You get in big match Okada, you get the dive.
Yeah.
And then pretty much for me, it was like, I was just waiting, like, when are they going to clear the ring and I can get my Okada Hangman. I got my Okada Hangman. I wish I had more of it, but I got what I got and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I went 4 stars on this one just because, like, I felt we kind of got robbed of the whole finishing sequence, whatever was going to happen. So, that was about as good as I could go with it.
I was thinking short of 4.
Yeah, and White retains, pinning Adam Cole. There was, they did break down into combat against each other at different points in the match. Thought Hangman looked great in there. When he came out, it was like, let's fucking ride, like let's go, like. And
I also enjoyed the story where like Hangman and Okada are trying to take out the heels so they can finally get to each other. Mm-hmm. So it's like Okada takes Jay White, Page takes Cole, and it's like, you take your asshole, I'll take mine until we can finally get in the ring and do this. I enjoyed that part of the story.
I thought we were going to get an appearance from Kenny here, but we did not. I thought there was going to be either, put him on a platform, let him watch the match, or he was going to like walk out after the match and, come out for somebody, like whether it was, to stare down Jay White when he walked away, like to take a look at Cole or Hangman. Like I didn't know what was going on, but this would have been the spot, but apparently not. So he did not show up. At that point, I threatened to walk out the theater and go home, but cooler heads prevailed. After that, it was main event time. AEW interim world title match: Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the ace is forever the ace. I don't care if he lost. We already knew what the score was on that. I think we all tried to, talk ourselves into something happening. We were rooting like hell for Tanahashi. I know I was, at least. And this was another, if you believe Hiroshi Tanahashi is the greatest wrestler of all time, right? Him turning getting Moxley booed against him in America, like, just proving he's just the greatest babyface in the world, so inspiring. Like, that's a great argument for you.
It sure is.
Like, he's 45 years old. He's holding on to what he has left by a thread. Like, he can turn up. He looks old sometimes during the lead up matches. Sometimes he even looks old on the big matches. But he didn't. Not tonight. Not tonight. He was there. He was fighting with all he had. They went about 18 minutes or so. So they didn't necessarily do like a 35-minute epic or anything.
They didn't need to.
Yeah. And looking at the match times all throughout the show were a lot of 16 minutes, 18 minutes, 13 minutes. Like, one match went over 20 minutes, and it was the IWGP title match. So, shocker. But Moxley,
especially with Jay White, yeah.
Moxley and Tanahashi got in there. They did their thing, and it felt like a big match. Like, Moxley comes out with his new hoodie on there. Tanahashi has his joint, and everybody goes. He gets the last entrance, which I thought was pretty cool for the Ace. It's kind of like some kind of difference to Tanahashi almost. I wanted it to happen. The crowd was living and dying with Tanahashi. I was puzzled how Mox got blood off a sling blade, but
Same
apparently
here.
there was a hard. It may have been a hard way, but if it wasn't, I am rolling my eyes. I'm like, stop it, Mox, stop.
I gotta rewatch it to see if it was actually a hard way. I have a hard time believing it, because he caught a sling blade, immediately rolled out. The camera cut away the whole time, and then they cut back, and he's leaking buckets.
Right. Brew Haven said Mox is always going to bleed. I respect it. So, like, how far is it before we get into Codyism? Because he bleeds just as much as Cody ever did.
I don't think it's as much of a problem, because his matches are actually hard hitting and physical, and like it's not like shenanigans all the goddamn time.
Yeah,
I think the thing for I think the rate of it happening is a problem of doing that often. But if your matches are actually physical and believable, as opposed to, like, how do I say this? The territory shit, then it's not, it seems less hokey.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of was maybe they clocked heads on the sling blade or something,
Maybe.
but
Yeah.
and that feels like a stretch. But
I want to go back and see it if it's, I want to go back and see this, because, like, I couldn't even make heads or tails of where he was cut at either. Yeah. So.
Look, he was cut at from here to here like you normally would when you're blading. But as far as Tanahashi, when he slapped Moxley, I felt like the building was shaking.
When he kicked it one, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yes.
Oh my god!
Yes. This was phenomenal. Also, I'm going 4.5 on this one, and
I think I'm going 4.5 on that one too.
Yeah, and it was like, this is such a fucking excellent show. These excellent wrestlers. Moxley wins the title, of course, and we're off with him running it. And you think about Wrestler of the Year, like, he's got to be up there as well. You think about, like, his road back to from being out at the end of last year, and he hits the ground fucking running this year, and he's on fire. And now he's going to get to be champ again in front of fans, actually, this time, which is really cool for him. They've got this angle with him and, the Jericho Appreciation Society that kind of started, bubbling in his own world, and it's just got heated up even more. And then now there looks like there's going to be some type of Moxley Jericho TV match this summer for the belt or something. Kingston's been in this. Go ahead.
Do we have any clue how long Punk is out for?
No.
Because if this thing goes like multiple months, and it's time to do a match. Like, let's say if this doesn't happen at All Out, right? Like, hell, even if it gets to All Out, like, people ain't gonna want Mox to come off this fucking belt. And the ratings wrestling, and the promos he's gonna have, with the blood and guts thing he's about to do, with what seemed, as you mentioned, the Jericho thing, it could be in the back pocket.
His unit.
Yeah. They're not gonna want CM Punk. It's gonna be, people that were talking about the Hangman thing. It's John fucking Moxley. Hangman's he's not gonna be a Hangman situation where, like, he's not gonna be on TV. He's gonna be on TV every week. If he's not wrestling, having a good ass match, he's gonna be cutting a fucking, hitting a home run, or hitting a standing double, off the wall, in a promo situation. Like, CM Punk's coming back and be like, nah, bro, you gotta go earn this shit again.
Like, Punk's gonna have to turn.
Maybe?
And he's gonna have to take FTR with him. Like, but I was watching this show, and I was like, man, thank God CM Punk didn't have to follow everything that was on this show. He would have been fucked.
I mean, it'd have been, as Jim Ross calls him, Japanese Bret Hart versus, wannabe Bret Hart. I think the match still would have been great. As good as this? Probably not, but it would have been great. I think they would have had a 4-star match.
Man, Forbidden Door, all-time show. And show of the year candidate for sure. Probably the clubhouse leader at this point.
I'd have to go back and think about it and rewatch it and give actual ratings out or whatever else. And also, because now Forbidden Door is closed for now, and there's, we have like 19 days until the G1 starts, so I'm going to go back and rewatch a bunch of stuff. So I need to go back and watch the live copy of, or TV copy of Revolution, and a few other things. But, like, I mean, for me, I think I got 3 shows on a tier to themselves, like, easily by themselves. Night 2 of the Stardom World Climax show from March 27th, Revolution, and this show. Those are the 3 shows on a tier to themselves. I don't think whatever else is 4 and 5, whatever else, I don't think they're as close to those 3 shows I just mentioned. Yeah.
Another, like, if you think about the temperature going out of this show than it was coming in, there was a lot of, the hyper criticism was on another level, with everything going into this show. And it was like, well, like I mentioned, the people that were preying on the show's downfall that, were called themselves big New Japan fans, and some people with large podcast audiences that feed them this bullshit, that were rooting on the downfall of the show. It's like, man,
like, I'm a New Japan fan. I'm gonna call him New Japan. I'm a New Japan fan, and what I'm going to root for is for the Western expansion to crumble in pieces. What?
I don't get it.
They tour here. You only want to see, like, Ishii and Suzuki just show up, like, during G1 season in the future, and no one else to ever come over here? That's what you want? You never want to see them in person. Okay.
Right. Like, they wanted everything to go wrong so they could blame it on TK, right? But when everything goes right on it, I bet you their asses is lining up, trying to hop in on the credit, like, make sure everybody's credited properly. It's like, bro, stop the cap. Stop the fuckery. And, like, I say all that to say, like, with the build, obviously when you're working with New Japan, you got to take on New Japan's scheduling and ideas of rollouts and stuff like that. Yep. This isn't anything that's really too familiar in AEW's history. They've added matches in the last week, maybe like 1 or 2 matches, but usually it's locked in ahead of time,
right?
A lot. And I think this reset is going to be very kind to them because they've got an injury situation they got to address, but that gives them a little bit of a chance to elevate some folks. I think New Japan picked up a lot of momentum in America. I think people are going to want to check out more Clark Connors. People are already into Jay White. They're going to want to watch Will, of course, more than that. And I think
Will's the biggest winner of all this. I
think so, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, everyone, a lot of people already know Okada. A lot of people already know Tanahashi. People have heard Ospreay and they think of the fucking goofy gifs of when he was 16, in 2016 and Best Super Junior stuff, and they haven't seen him as a main event level wrestler. So I think him coming over here and having those matches he had on Dynamite and Rampage and this, like
what a run.
Yeah.
So
and this is just like a WrestleMania week for him.
Right. He got weeks off. Like he had several days off between all this shit.
Right. It's supposed to have wrestled like 2 times in one day or 3 times in one day. Yeah.
So I think AEW picked up a lot. I think New Japan picked up a lot. And going out of it, they've got a lot to work with on both sides. So, and obviously the groundwork laid for whenever Forbidden Door 2 is, bring it on.
Yeah. Now, as far as like the future, like, just we're always going to be good as long as we never bring House of Torture around ever.
Correct.
Never bring them around.
Do you notice what was not on the show?
Right. No Yano. Yano was in the stands.
Like a fan, like you and I.
Yeah. So, no, like keep that bullshit where it is. No Fale.
Yeah.
So,
none of that. So anyway, I guess, James, it is time to hit the music.
Okay, so Stardom Fight in the Top 2022, a very good show. 6 matches on the card. I would say that 5 matches are good. I would say that 4 matches are very good, and I would say the last 3 matches are variations of great. Start from the top. You have the opener 3-way match, Unagi versus Waka versus Roaka. This match should have been on the pre-show, but it was not because they only had 6 matches, so they were forced to have to put this on the card, and it just was not good enough for an opener. Like, this is an insult to Hanan and Azumi and all, and their 2 legacies all time, carriers of the opener in Stardom lore on pay-per-view. I was disappointed in that, but it did at the end. Roaka ends up beating Waka, and it did have a storyline beat. In the press conference, Unagi said to Waka, like, I want to see what your feelings are, and she didn't go into detail what the feelings were. But after taking another loss, the Cosmic Angel's frustration with Waka has boiled over in the sense of Unagi looks at Waka at the end and is going to walk away, and just without helping her out of the ring or helping her to the back, just walk away. And then she got halfway up the aisle or a quarter way up the aisle, and then thought different. It was like, what the hell am I doing? This is my sister. I love her. And then she helped her, and Waka saw it, and Waka was like, she was hurt. She was hurt that, like, Unagi was going to walk away on her. But that was it for that match. But I mean, it's one of the worst matches in Stardom this year. Like, house show, road to, if you will, Korakuen Hall, ballroom show, pay-per-view. It was one of the worst shows, some matches in Stardom this year. Like, I gave it 1.5, I think. Yeah, it was stinker. No, I'm sorry. I take it back. I give it 1 3/4. It was a little bit better than absolute trash, but still a bad match.
Substandard conditions.
Yes. Like, this would not be happening. Like, the jokes when people talk about we used to be a proper country, like we used to be a proper promotion, and like show a picture of Azumi and Hanan right there. Announcement. After the first match, like they normally do, they gave all the dates for the 5-star Grand Prix. It is, as you already know, like similar to last year, first 2 shows are on the same weekend, pay-per-views, during Oda City Gym. The final is October 1st. We already knew that, but they mentioned all the dates, and then they also state that there will be a pay-per-view in the middle of the tournament this year. I don't know the details of if it's actually tournament match or if it's similar to the thinking of 2020 with like it's going to be a pay-per-view like right next to it or whatever else or in the middle of it. But it is, I think, August 21st. It's a pay-per-view. But yeah, that's the attitude. But they have all the dates, and I think it comes out to, depending on if this pay-per-view has 5-star or not, it comes out to either 21 or 22 dates. So yeah. So then next match you have Stars, B-Team Stars versus B-Team Queen's Quest, Giant Saya and Kogo versus Lady C and Amasaki. Ida and C get in the ring and they start trading out chops, and I gotta say, Lady C is 5'9", 5'10", and she's throwing these chops against Saya, and Saya's all of 4'9", and like, who do you think had the more louder sounding and more impressive chops, Rich?
Yeah, Saya Ida was sounding off, if I could say so myself.
She was lighting C ass up with them chops, boy. Oh my god.
Indeed.
Yeah, but
Lady Claudio did indeed make an appearance, though.
Yes, yes, you texted me that earlier today, or you sent me that, and you called her Lady Claudio. Yeah, Lady C is hitting the big swing. Who did she hit the big swing on? Was it Ida?
I think it was Kogo.
Yeah, that makes more sense. It was Kogo. So, not that she can't do it to either one of them, but it makes more sense. But ultimately, at the end, Ida ends up getting Lady C with a disarmer, and then she rolls her eyes in the back of her head like Yuji Nagata. Like a few before she came back from a knee injury, she was at some she did some public appearance with Natsuko Tora at some interview thing, some Q&A thing, or whatever else with fans, and like for some reason, like she was almost like playing like charades for wrestlers. And then she did the disarmer and the eye roll thing like Yuji Nagata, and I was like, and she put it on, and they put it on social media because it was funny, and I thought, oh, that's funny. And then sure enough, months later, she does it to win a match. So I guess that's her new submission finisher. So yeah, that's what it is. So next match, you end up having Mina Shirakawa versus Himeka. Very good match. I wasn't expecting this. Like, obviously the match is Mina needs to toughen up to try to take on Himeka, the Giant, and then like she does her, she comes out with like almost like the Daniel-san head,
yes,
towel thing, and then like selling new merch obviously, and then as she does her pose, to get in the ring, Himeka just runs up behind her with one of her towels, one of those new Mina merch towels, and smothers her with the fucking towel, and then they're off to the races. Then Mina starts
Should've
working
put the
on
ether on it, like Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez at WrestleMania 9. It would have been more effective.
Maybe. But Mina is able to get her wits about her, and she starts going to work on with drop kicks and work on the leg, and Himeka is really, selling knee damage really badly, and like Mina keeps getting figure fours, keeps getting another figure four, keeps getting another four. You're like, okay, eventually Himeka's gonna break, and then after she gets the third one, you're like, oh my god, Himeka's done for, and and then Mina she goes for a move, and Himeka like escapes and then beats Mina with her own fucking flash finish, the glamorous collection Mina, and gets out of there, and then Himeka just the biggest shit-eating grin, like, yeah, you fucked up my leg, but I still got you, and I beat you with your own move. And Mina is like, I don't know, I won't say she's beside herself, but she's really disappointed. She's really disappointed.
Yeah. This was an interesting match in the hierarchy, like wondering, because Himeka had a title shot a few months ago,
right?
Mina's kind of, in the middle, so
yep.
It was like, I wonder
could she
who
get this
gonna
win
go
and get a
with
title
here.
shot, right?
Yeah, and they went with Himeka, so I was like,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, same here. I mean, whatever. I think this is a match that is more of, in retrospect now, looking at it, is more of a match of like, we got to fill this card up with something. Let's give them to, upper mid carders and mid carders in a special singles match or whatever else, and let them have their thing, and they could tell their story of their friendship before they ended up in Stardom, and also with, the Donna Del Mondo, Mahima Poi, Cosmic Angels thing. And like, I thought the match was a success. I ended up giving it 3.5. I really enjoyed this match. Then from there, you end up getting the third match from the top. Saki, Momo, and Kid defending their trios titles versus God's Eye, Shuri, Ami, and Mirai, and Julia, Micah, and Mai of Don Del Mondo. And I thought this match was very good, but they utilized the over the top rope eliminations as a get out of jail free card. Like when you start your match and you have the three biggest stars being Kid and Julia and Shuri, and you all take them off the table. It's the first three eliminations. They eliminate all together. It saps a lot of the drama out for me. I was like, okay, now the JV squads take it, and it's like,
right.
All right. And the next thing you know, you get I think Momo threw out Micah, and then like Momo immediately gets thrown out too. Yeah, Mirai. Yeah. And then it comes down to Ami. Basically, the final two is Ami and Saki, and it's like, oh, I already know what's about to happen. Like, Ami's about to like wreck shop with her. She's gonna sell like a rag doll, and then then when it's time for the moment of truth, she's gonna hit her with the Revival Flash crucifix pin, and sure enough, and like eventually, whenever they lose the trios titles, it'll be Saki that gets pinned.
Saki just decided everybody was staying down.
That's what you said. Say that again?
That's what Saki just decided everybody was staying down.
What do you mean?
Like with her roll up, she like, I'm gonna roll you up.
Okay.
Roll you up.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm deciding to finish.
Did she get 2 eliminations or 3 eliminations with that? I can't remember.
2.
Yeah, 2. Okay. Was it the final 2?
The final 2.
It was the final 2. Yeah. So, like, she has the biggest gun in the collection, or on the range. So yeah, very good match. A lot of people like this match more than I do. So maybe I'm giving it a short thrift, and maybe I'm thinking too much of the part where it's like the biggest stars taken out of it. But I still thought it was a very good match. I probably give it like high 3s probably. And then some main event: Tam Nakano versus Natsupoi in a steel cage match where the rules are that you must escape the cage to win, but you must get a pinfall first in order to escape the cage. If you get interrupted, you must reset and start fighting again to get another pinfall. Now, generally, when you watch Japanese wrestling shows, there are multiple intermissions of various durations. They already had like the skeleton or the spine of the cage set up around the ring, and no one really did too much top rope stuff or stuff out over the top to the floor to avoid that, to get around that. But the show was still very good up to this point. So as they go to intermission to set this thing up, they then show the elaborate video package of their ups and downs, starting from when they first met each other all the way to set up to this match, and it goes over Tam leaving's Act-Res Girls, Natsupoi arriving in Stardom, their match for the white belt in April of last year, and they show parts of that match where they beat the shit out of each other and humiliate each other by throwing water on each other, all that stuff. And me and Rich, that was one of me and Rich's favorite matches in Stardom last year. And showed them, going at it in, tags and trios, whatever else, and then showed them doing these interviews, voiceovers, talking about, how they feel about each other at different points, and you can see, they're in this nice room with nice lighting, and they're, it's them, and they're these 2 cute girls, pretty girls, and they're dressed like immaculately, and their hair is just fried, dyed, laid to the side, and all to the nines, and all that stuff as they're saying all this. And they're doing a video package, and it's probably like close to 10 minutes. So then Then
it felt way longer than that, but
maybe it was longer than that. I don't know. I mean, they played
like a count. Like it was like video package, part of the match, more video package.
Right. So then they leave the video package, and the establishing shot is the steel cage, and then they do the entrances, and then they get in the ring and everything, and then the bell rings, and they're both in their corners, and the crowd is hot, and they're clapping, and then the crowd gets quiet because they're standing in their corners, and obviously I'm thinking of like Vegeta and Nago Shiozaki, but you know, eventually they both meet in the middle of the ring, and they just stare at each other for a while, and then it is almost like they're looking at each other, and they're just getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and then they both grab each other by their hair, and then they just start fucking just to the ground, roll out to the ring, and they're in, or roll out of, or not out of the ring, but out to the apron, and they're both up against the cage, and then they start Tam starts, you know, throwing her into the cage face first, raking her face and rubbing her face like a cheese grater against the cage. It's gross. Then at some point, Natsupoi returns a favor. They start hitting each other, or Tam starts hitting her before Natsupoi got advantage, started hitting her with closed fist punch on the mat. So Natsupoi gets her advantage or whatever else, and rakes her face against Tam's face against the cage, and they got the camera right on, and you just see it just completely just cheese grating Tam's face. Tam's face turns red and starts swelling up. Then Natsupoi hits a flash fall and starts to sprint up the ropes or to get out of the cage. Tam cuts her off. And takes her down by doing basically a back body drop where they both come sliding and scraping down the edge of the cage. Tam gets her own flash finish. Natsupoi cuts that off by basically Germaning her off the top rope. Tam lands on her head, or she flips but lands on her, basically on her. She almost like forehead hits the canvas. Then they both try to hit each other with their own suplexes. They both escape their own suplex. They hit each other with each other's suplex, whether it's Tam's Tiger suplex or it's Natsupoi's straightjacket suplex. They both get kick outs out of that. Natsupoi gets a fall. I forgot how she gets her fall. She goes up, and Tam cuts her off. They both climb up to the top of the cage. They both get to the top of the cage, and they're both seated on the top of the cage, and they change a slap battle. They keep slapping back and forth. They both end up double slapping each other. They both crash down and fall down from the top of the cage to the canvas. Then basically from that point is like Tam is big sister, Natsupoi's little sister. And Big Sister's just like, I've had enough, and just progressively beats the shit out of Natsupoi worse and worse and worse. After all the stuff I already explained, worse and worse and worse. And like, Natsupoi just will not go down. She will not stay down. She will not die. She hits her with her, Tam hits Natsupoi with her Twilight Dream suplex, and then looks at Natsupoi just basically like in a heap, and goes to take a step back to go climb up the ropes like it's over. And then Natsupoi turns over and then grabs at Tam's leg and tries to, still try to fight. Tam slaps her down, picks her up, hits her it holds her up in like the violent screwdriver position for forever, and then goes up and then drops her, and it's just like devastating. She's fucking murdered. She's dead, and gets the pin, and then she goes, and then Tam crawls to the cage, crawls up the cage, and Natsupoi fucking is already back crawling up after her, scraping and crawling to her. Tam is like, I can't fucking believe this. Natsupoi gets up on the top rope, and by Tam, they're by a corner. Natsupoi so beat up that she can't even fight back. She just, I'm here. I'm just here. And Tam just, fuck it. Puts her in hangs her from a dragon sleeper until Natsupoi the life gives out of her, and then once her life gives out of her, she drops, and then Tam looks down at her and is like, fuck. And then she's still like between the ropes, Natsupoi down. Tam climbs down and crashes down halfway because she's so exhausted. She kind of comes to her senses or whatever else. She looks up into the ring and she's right next to Natsupoi, who's like, her fucking carcass is like right next to her. She like, oh my God, I've beaten this woman to death. And like, she like, give me the key because this cage has both sides have doors that are padlocked. She's like, give me the Cosmic Angel's key to her side. She runs in, she checks on Natsupoi to see if did I murder this woman? Like, have we gone too far? Natsupoi turns out to, because she's tough as fucking iron. She's like, you didn't kill me. I'm still alive. And then Tam says, we said we're going to do a series of 2 matches, this cage match and the match at Korakuen Hall, which is actually going on probably in a couple hours from now, because it happens this morning. And she's like, look, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. Like, we don't have to have a second match. This is fine. Natsupoi's like, you're out of your fucking mind. We're doing this in a couple days. Get ready. Or whatever else. And like, then, they take her off. I don't know why they didn't get like one of those like, stretcher deals or whatever else. Hauls her off. Tam comes out. She gets down. Like, all of Cosmic Angels in tears with her. And she walks to the back. And I was like, God damn, like, I don't know what to do with this match. This match is great. James, and like go ahead.
This match was depressing as fuck.
How so?
Bro, like, it was just like, it was so heavy. Like, I've heard of this thing that, I don't know if you've come across it on Twitter, called Tam's Road or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if this is, I guess people are linking a lot of like her super emotional heavy matches together. Like, I watched this match and I was not aware of Tam's Road, and then I discovered it after, and I was like, I feel like I instantly know what this is. Like, the wrestling parts in this match, I like them a lot. Like, I like when they were, doing the wrestling parts, and then every time they would break down into their, I'm gonna stand in front of you and look like I'm gonna kiss you, or we're gonna fight. Oh, we're actually going to fight. And it was like 4 different times. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then like the, when they were sitting on top of the cage, I was like, what the fuck is this? And then when she kills her at the end and then she gets back in, I'm like, I felt so bad for Natsupoi. And I was just like, this is depressing. Like, this is just so much. It was like what the fuck is this? Okay. I was like, bro, it was so dramatic, like, as far as like it was very dramatic, almost unnecessarily dramatic. It was like, I like when y'all wrestle, like, y'all doing all this like and some of like the rolling around spots, like they was hopping on top of each other, like, bro, it just looked weird. Like like I was watching, I was like, I feel like the parts of this match are good. Obviously, like the escalations, I didn't like the rules. Like, I didn't like the pin thing, and then like I know they did the thing like it was an I Quit match to establish like, hey, this is the rule, like, I'll do a roll up and then the person will take off running. I was like, whatever. So I just tried not to think about that.
Oh, I know what you mean, the beginning.
Yeah, but she fucking murdered her with that violet screwdriver. And then when she got up and she like hung her up after, I was just like, yo, this is a lot. Like, wow, this is a lot, man. Like, see, the thing, like, do we need to sit? Does Tam need help, James? Like, do we need to send her to like talk to somebody?
Why is she so violent?
Maybe, like, what, why does she have, like, I don't know. And then like when she got back in the cage, it was like, all right, what's going on, man? Just walk to the back, man.
I think they're playing on the part where like, they both very much care about each other, but Natsupoi is so she just won't forgive Tam. I think that's the main thing. Like, it just, she was heartbroken. I mean, it's not too much different from what happened with like the Julia in Suzu Suzuki story, except like it hasn't been able to like fully be formed as fully fleshed out in Stardom so far as it is here, where it's like, we were aces somewhere, and then you left me behind. And, like, I'm here now, and, like, I don't want to be friends with you. I fucking hate your guts. You broke my heart. You left me. You left our promotion. I'm here now because our promotion isn't, like, isn't either working or is defunct now because you left. Or in part because you left. And I'm mad and I'm angry and, like, and you left me and I'm hurt. And, like, whatever, you amends you think you want to do, I don't really care for it right now. Maybe over time, who knows? I don't know. But, like, I think they care about each other, but, like, at the same time, like I just mentioned, like, she's still mad, and Tam's like, well, like, I can only say I'm sorry so much.
And like, don't get it wrong, I get emotion in wrestling. Like, you're talking to the same guy that, like, when Matt Jackson looked at Hangman, and then Hangman essentially executed Kenny.
This is teen drama.
Like, bro, this was
teen,
like
soap opera drama, yeah.
This was like 4 or 5 of those, like, those looks in the eyes before he does the finish, like, in the same match, though. Like, I was like, yo, like, what is your real problem? Do y'all want to be together? Like, are y'all supposed to be together too? Like Eminem would say, P.S. we supposed to be together too. Like, it's Stan. Like, what's going on here?
I think that's a part of it. Like, I don't know how long this goes.
I don't have the translations. I'm just working off what's on the screen.
I think once we get the translation, we'll get a better idea of exactly what they're going for. But, like, just going off the body expression, like, it's super heavy. Like, it's definitely stylistic. Like, if you are not into this, you could be very put off by this. If you are into this, you think it's the greatest thing ever. I'm somewhere in the middle of it compared to what I've seen. Like,
yeah,
people gave this. A lot of people think this is like a match of the year contender. I'm like, nah, I think it's very great, but not there. I became aware of the Tam's Road thing, and shouts out to Velcage and JML, who was talking about it on Twitter, and I was like, I get it. I was like, I understand now. Like, I was like, this is it. Yeah. I think personally, as far as the grudge stuff with Tam, I think they should tell her to not go 25 minutes or over 25 minutes. I think that if you look at her matches, like with say,
remember the Mina match, the crazy Mina match?
Yeah, but that is crazy Mina. That's not. I don't think that's a Tam instruction. Because also Mina brought that shit out again. But she brought it against Mariah in the opening round of Cinderella tournament this year. But yeah, like, I think that they need to tell her, like, if you're going to have some super emotionally supercharged heated match, like, go 20 minutes or less. Don't go 25. Don't go 30. Like the Mayu match or whatever else. Because, like, well, the Mayu match is mostly people pissed because it didn't have a finish. But whatever. But yeah, like, I think from a storytelling perspective, like, if you're into the melodrama of wrestling, if you're into, like, Shawn Michaels matches or Triple H matches or Gargano matches, I would say check this out. I think you'll love the fuck out this match. If you want to see the women just beat the fuck out of each other relentlessly at nonstop action, this isn't a Nanae Takahashi match. It's not. But, like, I think either way, like, I don't know if you can come away with any of the other scenario not thinking, like, these women beat the fuck out of each other and this was, like, a great match. How great is what you come down to it? Like, so I don't know. But I'm
very up in the air. I have no idea how to rate this. None. Like, it was just like, Zach says, did Tam look at her hands? I mean, she might as well have, but
she looked at Natsupoi. It was fucking dead on the ground.
Like, bro, like, when she gets back in there, like, to talk to her after, it's like, yo, leave her alone. Like, you killed her. Like, why are you trying to rub it in this much?
I'm interested to see what their match looks like, their regular rules matches.
That's a point. Better fucking win. Like,
I mean,
look, win or leave. Like, leave the promotion.
No, win or you have to join Cosmic Angels because she beat you too badly. You have no choice.
God,
you've been young girl.
Yeah.
So the main event, Queen's Quest versus Stars, Utami, and Kamitani and Azumi versus Mayu and Hazuki and Kaguma, and like this match is like they gave you two last two matches in cage matches, but like they're if anyone ever tells you these two matches are alike, they're lying through their fucking teeth. You should never listen to them again. Like, this was a spot fest party match with comedy involved, all that kind of stuff. Like, this is the Yang to Tam and that's Boy's Yin.
Yes. Complete opposite. It's tonally, stylistically, like just watching it come through the screen. I'm talking about like completely heavy. Like, no, this was like a party. It was fun. I was like, well, there's no way someone had fun watching that Tam and that's point match. That was not a fun experience. Like, that was like, oh my god, like these poor people. Like
why are they? What? They were once friends. Why can't they just walk away? Why can't they stop just beating each other like this? So
wholesome
savagely?
cage match. Yeah. And I gotta say, like, the escape the cage rules, I normally hate them, but I hate them in singles. I think it's so compelling, and I've always thought this. Like, going back,
you're down a man advantage.
Yes, yep. I like going back to Macho Man and Zeus against Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I've always thought the team cage match where it's like escape and you got to decide whether to leave if your partner can handle it, or do you guys try to go out at the same time. That strategy, that always works for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, lucky for them, like, it wasn't too much of a stretch, much as like there were three people and three people only that actually like wanted to actually do this, and it was Azumi, Kaguma, and Hazuki, and you could tell because those are the three people that did the dives. And then like at different points throughout the build throughout this, like Mayu was like, I don't want to do this. I don't really want to do this, but Kaguma wants me to do it and the fans want me to do it, so I'll do it. And then like, I don't know when this happened, but like at the 11th hour, and also Utami was like, well, I'm not a flyer. I'm going to be out here catching dives. I don't really want to do this either. But like, she's more subtle about it. But then at the 11th hour, they decided to do this comedy thing where like, Kamitani is scared to death of the cage. Even though you know what? I would take this back. Maybe she watched Tam vs. Nashville was like, I don't want to be in this cage at all. Get me away from this fucking cage. I'm getting out of this cage immediately with first chance I get, because someone's going to die in this cage. There's six of us. There was two of them. Someone almost died.
It was nice of Saya Kamitani to join us from the grave in this match after her and Rossy Ogawa were murdered by somebody backstage. So
I often hear from some of the Joshi hardcore fans that Stardom has gotten too serious. Like, they had a motherfucker dress up as a Grim
Halloween
Reaper
costume
in a poor one, yes, a cheap one that you can get from like Party City, and go out there and choke out the white belt champion and then the booker of the promotion. And that, what does that mean? Oh, nothing, because the white belt champion is going to show up at the main event. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, man, I don't want to hear that shit ever again. Pack it up. So,
look, was it Asha Kong? Was she doing it to Rossi? Was she in disguise?
Nah, because they wouldn't have aired that, because that'd have been a murder. He can't be put that. He can't be putting bodies getting caught on pay-per-view. That's illegal. But yeah, this match, all the flying, all the comedy stuff, like the main highlights are, for me anyway, when it's time, like, at some point at the beginning of the match, they start running spots of triple drop kicks and whatnot. And then at some point, like, two people ended up in the ring from each team, or one person from each team ended up in the ring, and then the other four teammates are out in like the red and blue corners, and it resembles like an actual trios tag. And then eventually they quickly broke out into that. And then, but while that's happening, because Mayu has been building that, like, she does not want to be in this fucking cage match, you see Mayu slowly crawling up the cage while she's not, quote unquote, in the tag. Like, it broke into like a lucha tag, or a trios lucha tag. You see her slowly crawl, and then somebody from Queens was like, hey, what the fuck? And then stopped her, and it was funny. And then it broke into a six-way again, or a six-person match. And like, then you get the escapes. You get Kamitani out. Kamitani gets whipped into a corner. And she leapfrogs to the top.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, she triple jumps up to the top of the cage from the ropes and then climbs out and she's like, fuck you niggas, I'm out of here. And then like, while she's still hanging from the cage, she shouts out and shrieks out, I don't want to be in the cage, I want out of this. And then she jumps down and she's like so happy and safe. She was actually the second escape. Mayu got out first. And like as she landed on the feet, she's like on those things like, you know what? I swear, I promise you, God, if you get me off this flight or you get me to where I need to be, I'm gonna change my ways. I'm gonna start doing right. Like she landed and then she looked into the camera. She made the funniest fucking ugly cry face I've ever seen, and she collapsed to the ground to cry. Like she's so happy she's back on solid ground with the Lord's earth underneath her. She was hilarious. Then. I forgot who else, but basically, Hazuki has a dive off the top of the cage, was crazy. And then you end up with the final two end up being Kaguma and Azumi. Azumi goes to the top rope, or not the top rope, the top of the cage, and does a double foot stomp off the top of the cage to the mat on Kaguma. And then the finish of the match is, Kaguma is at the top of the cage, and like she's gonna do her bear splash onto Azumi in the middle of the ring. She then turns around. By the way, not for nothing, also to give you an illustration of this, stars came out in jumpsuits and they're all in their traditional colors. Hazuki is now taking over the color of purple, go along with her purple. There's a purple to go along with her pink. Kaguma wears orange, so she wears orange. Mayu wears light blue because she wears light blue all the time. So Kaguma looks like a fucking inmate because she's in an orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
So she's on top of a cage. She turns around, instead of like she's gonna do the Jimmy Snuka dive onto Azumi, she turns around and sees there's a group of Queen's Quest like on the floor, and what does she do? The inmate jumps over the fence out of the prison and lands to freedom. Yes, to freedom. It lands on top of them. It gets the win. And I was, and Kaguma has done it again. She has figured out another way to do another crazy dive, to the floor dive off the top of something high as hell above the top rope. She's out of her mind. She's insane. I love this match. I gave it like 4 1/4. I thought this match was great. Just a fantastic match.
I like this one more than the last one. This was a lot of people I like in this match. It was coming down to like the Azumi and Kaguma at the end. I was like, man, like I see Azumi in main events, and I'm like, that's just awesome, ain't it? And this is a real fun match. Definitely check this one out.
Yeah. So a very good show. A weak opener or whatever else, but it pretty much stands up with most of the pay-per-views this year. The next pay-per-view is July 9th. What's the date, Rich?
June 27th.
July 9th is this pay-per-view. This is actually like the A side of the pay-per-view cycle. White belt match. Kamitani versus Starlight Kid. Actual real threat to win the title. And red belt match, main event, Shuri versus Momo. They, in the third from the top in this show, also showcased a lot of Momo and Shuri, or a good chunk of Momo and Shuri. There is a tag title defense for FWC against Ami and Mirai in the next couple weeks. Can't remember what else is not, but it's not on this show. On this next pay-per-view. But yeah, we'll get back to you on next week with. Go ahead.
There was a question I do want to bring up in the press conference for the AEW show. Shouts out to my man Phil Lindsay from Grab City. He had asked TK if he was interested in using Stardom wrestlers on this show, but Tony said there was they had their own show, which was obviously the show we just reviewed today. Everyone was already booked. And none of them have visas. So once that situation's worked out, he does hope to integrate them in the future. So we'll see if that happens. But that would be pretty cool also.
Yeah. It's cool to see them. I have questions on who they're going to be in there with. Don't you?
I mean, who's going to face Britt? Send your best.
Oh God.
Britt versus Mayu. Well, Ace versus Ace.
That's what Britt wants. Definitely.
Britt is a great talent scout. We know this.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there. Okay. Yeah. Like, Britt's a big Mayu fan. They could do that match. I mean, have they done that match before in Stardom? I don't think they've done that match in Stardom before. But not a singles match. They may have done tags, something like that. But yeah, like,
who will walk Tam's road? That's what I want to know, Jen. Who's going to walk Tam's road?
I don't know if Tam will come over here. I mean, they before the pandemic, her and Mayu were supposed to come at the beginning of 2020 to Ring of Honor. But I don't know if Tam. I don't know. Like, I feel they're going to let somebody come out here, but it's like I don't think they're going to let like 5 people come at once. I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see what they do. It'll be interesting. Like, but if they bring over a bunch of them, that means they got to book a bunch of them too. Which means like it's be a lot of work for, the AEW domestic talent. So that'd be cool. Like, I know that Red Velvet is hurt right now, but like that's somebody I've wanted to see wrestle Stardom talent. Obviously Serena.
When does Jade face Saya Ito?
Jade. They should do the pose down. I never tell you about the pose down, have I?
No.
Okay, so about a month ago, before Tekla got hurt, in like 2 matches in a row, like one weekend, like Ida and Tekla were wrestling. So they started a match, and then Tekla was like, "Look at your muscles! Look, he grabs her, nice muscle, and then like." They start doing a pose off like both of them do double biceps, both of them do the traps and arms and like all the poses or whatever else, and then like Tekla goes nice muscle and then raise her hand, winner. Shit was funny. Like, and then they did it like the next day where like they did a push up contest. Like, but yeah, like Saya Ida versus Jade in a pose down. I mean, I don't know how that would draw, but it would be funny as fuck. Like, cause they just did a pose down with what was it on WWE? They did it with Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley.
Lashley,
yeah. I mean, stuff like that is always hilarious. Like, how about an arm wrestling contest? Like, I love the arm wrestling contest. I think that the Scott Steiner and Triple H arm wrestling contest is like one of the 5 greatest things Triple H has ever done as a talent in wrestling. Oh my god! Like that thing that's what he sells that shit like ridiculously great. He makes Steiner look like the strongest motherfucker alive. Like, yeah, but anyway, but that is the gist of where we're at right now with Stardom in the next couple weeks. But next week we'll report back with whoever dies in the singles match between Tam and Natsupoi.
Yeah,
we'll report the murder for whoever and we'll report whoever goes to jail for murder, of course.
Unbelievable.
But that's the end of the show, y'all. Thanks for listening. Check out the links in the description, the links on the Twitch. So that's the PayPal, that's the Cash App. If you're listening to the podcast, be sure to go to our Red Circle and drop us off a donation. And listen to other shows on the network. You have besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Definitely check out Keepin It Strong Style for their I guess I imagine would be a joyous review as well of Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
The Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, Grumman Watch This Shit, the Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, Get in the Ring, Meet the Press Slam, and AEW Match Guy. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
Hitting the road? T-Mobile has your road trip covered. Whether you're binge streaming hour after hour of your favorite podcasts, sharing road trip snaps with family and friends, or uploading that important work presentation you forgot about with T-Mobile's super fast upload speeds, you'll be covered by more 5G bars in more places. Plus, T-Mobile covers the most interstate miles in America with 5G.
T-Mobile has America's largest 5G network. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Target has Laundry Day covered because they offer a great selection of concentrated Tide Pods to help with all your laundry needs. Tide Pods clean, freshen, and help rejuvenate your clothes with odor fighters and stain removers. Did you know Tide Pods clean better than the leading liquid bargain detergent? Tide Pods are powerful enough to make your whites white and your brights bright, even in cold water. Just toss in 1 Tide Pod for small loads, 2 for medium, 3 for large. It's that easy. For great value and convenient pickup options, get Tide Pods today at Target.